Powered by the Montana Television Network. Montana This Morning continues on Montana's News Leader.
President Trump will give a speech to the United Nations General Assembly today. I'm Nikki Batiste. I'll have a preview coming up.
And students were caught with loaded guns at a school in Dillon yesterday. Coming up, how authorities in the school district is reacting. Good morning. Thanks for joining us. I'm Missy O'Malley. Chet will have our forecast in a moment. Matt Elwell is doing evening weather this week. And it is a big day for President Donald Trump at the United Nations, where he will deliver his first address to the General Assembly. He's expected to offer up some tough talk on North Korea. CBS's Nikki Batiste is at the UN with a preview of the day's events.
An America First theme is expected when President Trump addresses the United Nations General Assembly today. In addition to remarks he'll make on Iran, Venezuela, and terrorism, a senior administration official says the president will directly address the, quote, North Korea menace in extremely tough terms.
We commend the Secretary General and his call for the United Nations to focus more on people and less on bureaucracy.
On Monday, the president's busy day included a call for more reforms to the UN. He also met with the president of France, where officials say Mr. Trump agreed to discuss the Paris Climate Agreement further. And with Israel's prime minister, President Trump insisted there is potential for peace in the Middle East.
We are giving it an absolute go. I think there's a good chance that it could happen. Most people would say there's no chance whatsoever.
In between meetings, the president spoke with China's president. The White House said the two agreed to maximize pressure on North Korea using UN sanctions. When pressed on whether or not Trump will call out China or Russia specifically in his address today, an administration official said, quote, everyone in this world who needs to be delivered a message in this speech will understand what message is being delivered. Nikki Batiste for CBS News, the United Nations.
Now, regarding the North Korea situation, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres says that he plans to meet separately with concerned parties this week. In other news this morning, Hurricane Maria, the second major storm to hit the Caribbean this month, lashed out at the French overseas island of Martinique early this morning with violent winds and torrential rains. The eye of the cyclone passed about 30 miles from Martinique as it began coasting the Caribbean on Monday evening from the south to the north, generating winds approaching 186 miles an hour. An accurate assessment of the damage can only be carried out later. Local authorities have said this. No casualties were reported. The National Hurricane Center in Miami says Maria is expected to remain a Category 4 or 5 storm as it moves through the Caribbean. The French Interior Ministry warned residents of Martinique and Guadeloupe of high-risk flooding, mudslides, landslides, and they've installed measures to protect vital sites such as a desalination plant and a power plant as well. Wow, looks like a mess, Chet.
Yeah, phenomenal. Currently, a Category 5 is Maria, and I have a satellite radar picture of her for the last couple hours here. You can see that island to the north is Puerto Rico. That's the movement over the last few hours. Again, upgraded to a Category 5. How big is our planet? Let's jump across the continent here. Here's what we're dealing with back here. Much cooler temperatures, though a lot of moisture in it, not anything like they're seeing in Martinique and Dominica, but we will see some moisture today. In fact, we'll see a winter weather advisory in effect until 9 o'clock tonight for Yellowstone National Park. I'll have more on that in 10 minutes. Currently, temperatures in the 30s for a big chunk of southwest Montana. Had some snowflakes this morning in West Yellowstone, currently cloudy. We'll see more of that kind of weather for the next couple of days. Missy, detailed forecast from the $1 Billion Weather Patio, 10 short minutes.
Thank you, Chet. Now 6:34. It was an unsettling day for some students at Dillon High School. 2 students were arrested after loading handguns were found at the school. MTN's John Amy has our story.
2 students were found on campus with handguns in their backpacks. A student at this school found out about these handguns and told staff, who promptly called police.
And we went in and took them out without incident, searched each one of their persons or their personal belongings, and were able to locate 2 firearms, 2 loaded firearms.
The 2 juveniles were arrested, and the rest of the students were sent home early Monday. Investigators with search dogs searched the school that afternoon for any other weapons, but nothing threatening was found.
We're able to establish that this was an isolated incident. We don't feel that there's any threat outside of what occurred today.
Dillon Police Chief Don Giberson praised the student for alerting staff about the alleged handguns at the school, and he commended the staff for following the proper protocol.
The school did exactly what they were supposed to do. Law enforcement did what they were supposed to. Students did what they were supposed to, and nobody's hurt. And I think that we can come away from it as, maybe a positive thing.
The chief would not say if the two students arrested had planned to harm anybody at the school. However, he says it's now safe for students to return to school. In Dillon, John Amy, MTN News.
Now, John tells us that the students are expected to be charged with felony accounts of criminal endangerment in juvenile court and possessing firearms on campus. And authorities are now saying that the hacker behind the cyber terror attack against schools in the Flathead area is demanding ransom to be paid. Now, this comes as students from across the district in the valley will be heading back to their classrooms this morning. Flathead County Sheriff Chuck Curry decided to release this ransom letter in order to help parents understand the scope and the threat of the progress in this ongoing investigation, which began when the suspect hacked into the Columbia Schools District computers last week. Curry hopes by releasing the letter it will show people that the threats were not real, that they were simply a tactic by cyber extortionists to facilitate their demand for that money. Now, he also says the group is already known for making other threats across the country, and they are not located in the United States. Sheriff Curry said in the release, quote, "We fully understand the concern and the fear that's resulted from these cyber attacks. We want the community to know that all the Valley law enforcement agency heads feel that there is no threat to the physical safety for our children. We will continue to work around the clock to bring those responsible to justice and remain fully committed to this investigation, even though that we know the physical threat to our children does not exist." In other news this morning, a New York Times reporter overheard a White House attorney talking about the Russia probe at a steakhouse in Washington. CNN's Tom Foreman reports.
Chatting about a sensitive case in a crowded restaurant might be risky for any lawyers. But when you represent the president and a New York Times reporter is close enough to listen and snap pictures, well, it's just another example of how President Trump's legal dream team is sometimes hijacking headlines, and not in a good way. The team is made up of big-name players assembled to manage, among other things, the congressional and special counsel probes into alleged Russian meddling in the election, or what the president calls
fake news.
But there have been stumbles. Attorney Jay Sekulow repeatedly denying, for example, that the president helped craft a statement from his son about a meeting with Russians.
Well, no, that was written by Donald Trump Jr. and I'm sure in consultation with his lawyer.
Because the New York Times has reporting that the president okayed the statement.
Well, they're incorrect.
The White House, however, later contradicted Sekulow, saying, yes, the president did weigh in. Attorney John Dowd, according to the New York Times, forwarded a message defending the president's statements about the violence between white supremacists and counter-protesters in Charlottesville.
I think there's blame on both sides.
The message said, in part, the Black Lives Matter movement has been totally infiltrated by terrorist groups. Attorney Ty Cobb sparred with a reporter from Business Insider who released an email in which he asked if she was on drugs. Attorney Mark Kasowitz has now left the Trump team, but this summer ProPublica published emails from a man who urged Kasowitz to resign and got this response: F you! How dare you send me an email like that? Watch your back, B. Kasowitz later apologized. So perhaps that overheard meeting in the restaurant is not so surprising. But the former Attorney General for Virginia says,
this is really, really below the standards of any lawyer. This should never have happened, and it's something we're talked to about and taught about as budding lawyers all the way back in law school.
Does any of this mean these lawyers cannot effectively represent the president? No, of course not. But it does mean when presidential attorney Michael Cohen meets with members of the Senate tomorrow, he could face more thorny questions than he expects.
And in other news this morning, a popular trail in Big Sky will now belong to the community. MTN's Caitlin Corbett tells us how the purchase of the trail land will now allow for some upgrades.
The Beehive Basin trailhead sits on 7.5 acres of privately owned land. Public access to this trail is currently possible through an easement between the land's owner and the U.S. Forest Service. And now, thanks to a donation, the Big Sky Community Organization is able to purchase this land for the community.
They're ensuring long-term access for the public and that this beautiful asset and gem is stewarded for a long time.
While the current easement allows the public to enjoy the 7-mile trail, it doesn't allow for certain upgrades that the community organization would like to see.
There's just not the amenities here to support the level of use that we're seeing at this trailhead. So as you can see in the parking lot, there's about 12 parking spots, and we have photos of any given day up to 40 to 50 cars parked along here, just due to the popularity and the access, the close access point to Big Sky.
And now all of that will change. The privately owned land, which has one potential home site, has been for sale at $299,000 for the past year. Through the money that the Big Sky Community Organization has raised, along with the donation money, they can now purchase the land parcel and make the necessary changes to keep up with the trail's increasing popularity.
By our community owning and acquiring this parcel, we can actually take care of the bigger picture, the 7.5 acres, which is that access point to the Lee Metcalf Wilderness and the Gallatin-Custer National Forest.
And the Big Sky Community Organization hopes to implement some of those changes in the near future.
The things that we're immediately looking at are additional parking, a pit toilet, and trash receptacles, bear-proof trash receptacle cans.
The closing date for the purchase of this land is expected to be October 31st. Reporting in Big Sky, Caitlin Corbett, MTN News.
Now, despite the land's ownership changing hands, Beehive Basin Trail will remain open. And it is Tuesday morning, right around 6:42 here, and you know what that means. It's time to spotlight a Montana-made product, and today we'll tell you how to make cleaning up a little bit easier and quite a bit more green, too. I'll explain that in just a moment. But first, sending it over to our friends in New York for a little preview of your headlines at 7.
Good morning. Ahead here on CBS This Morning, we're in Puerto Rico, where Hurricane Maria could make a direct hit. Also, we'll talk with John Dickerson about what to expect from President Trump's big speech to the UN. And the revelations the FBI wiretapped Paul Manafort while he was running the president's campaign. We'll see you right at 7.